Today, for the SIE exam, we are breaking down a topic that trips up many test takers: dividends and stock splits for common stock. These corporate actions directly affect shareholders, and you can be sure the exam will test your understanding of the mechanics. Let's start with cash dividends, which are a way for a company to distribute its profits to shareholders. The most critical part to master for the exam is the timeline of events. There are 4 key dates. The first is the declaration date, which is simply the day the company's board of directors announces they will be paying a dividend. Next is the record date. On this date, the company looks at its books to see who the official shareholders or owners of record are. If your name is on the list, you get the dividend. The final date is the payment date, when the dividend is actually paid out. But the most tested date is the one I skipped, the ex-dividend date. The X means without. The ex-dividend date is the first day the stock trades without the dividend attached to it. It is set by the market, not the company, and it is typically 1 business day before the record date. To receive the dividend, you must own the stock before the ex-dividend date. Let's walk through an exam-style scenario. Imagine a company sets a record date of Wednesday, the 15th. The ex-dividend date would be 1 business day before, on Tuesday, the 14th. If you buy the stock on Monday, the 13th, you will receive the dividend because your trade will settle and you will be an owner of record on the 15th. However, if you buy the stock on Tuesday, the 14th, you will not receive the dividend. The seller who sold it to you on that day will get it. A simple phrase to remember this is, don't buy on the X date if you want the dividend. Now let's shift to stock dividends. Instead of cash, the company pays shareholders with additional shares of stock. A common trap here is thinking this makes the investor wealthier. It does not. If a company issues a 10% stock dividend, an investor holding 100 shares will receive 10 more, for a new total of 110 shares. However, the market price of the stock will adjust downwards proportionally. The investor's total position value remains the same. They simply own more shares, each worth a little less. Their percentage ownership in the company also stays the same. This principle is identical for stock splits. A stock split changes the number of shares and the price, but not the total value. In a forward split, say a 2-for-1 split, the number of shares doubles and the price is cut in half. A shareholder with 100 shares trading at $80 per share, a position worth $8,000, will now have 200 shares trading at $40 per share. The total value is still $8,000. Companies do this to make their stock price seem more affordable to retail investors. Conversely, in a reverse split, like a 1-for-10 split, the number of shares is reduced and the price increases. An investor with 1,000 shares at $1 each would now have 100 shares at $10 each. The total value, $1,000, is again unchanged. This is often done to avoid being delisted from an exchange that requires a minimum stock price. The key takeaway for both stock dividends and splits is that they are non-taxable events that do not change the investor's total equity